see my feelings so true, but am I blinded by you? By you. Made it all the way through, but am I blinded by you? By you.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. 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 Clap your hands, clap, clap, clap. Stomp your feet, stomp, stomp, stomp. Spin around, spin, spin, spin. Alright. Good morning, good morning, good morning. 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 Wash your hands, wash, wash, wash. Shake your hands, shake, shake, shake. Brush your teeth, brush, brush, brush. Alright. Good morning.
Hey, good morning and that. Yeah, it's Uncle Lou here. That's right, it's me, Uncle Lou, live for you on Loutube today. Thanks for watching. This is the morning show with Uncle Lou, that's me, and BVD. He's the ugly one there. Okay, he's the ugly one wearing the hat there. Okay, he's the ugly one wearing the glasses. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But this is the morning show, though. Episode 57. Weird. Only episode 2 on this channel, though. Hey, have you heard the good news? Have you heard the good news? Somebody said hashtag professional. Is the volume not working or something? Every time I see professional, I think the volume's not working. The volume's working. quit messing with me. Anyway, appreciate y'all tuning in. But have you heard the good news, though? Have you heard the good news? Where's BVD? I haven't seen him in the comments section. The morning show will be 5 days next week. Yeah, that's right. Monday through Friday next week. All 5 days of the morning show. Listen, like one or two of you have been requesting that. Man, so how's spring practice going for everybody's team? Of course, we're in the middle of spring practice for all these teams here. Spring games coming up in a couple of weeks. Yeah. How's your bracket looking in the NCAA tournament? Baseball season has kicked off here, so we're good to go there. Is your XFL team going to make the playoffs? How's that NBA regular season working out for you? Gurley to the Falcons. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe DeAndre Swift to the Falcons. No, I have no idea. I don't know where Gurley's going to wind up. Have no clue. No idea. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in this morning, though. Tyrants 5, Celine Driver, VFL, David. Good morning, sir. Snake Spence. Dago. Oh, yeah. Good morning in that, sir. Can I get a hashtag professional in the chat, please? Jesus Christ. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Are you there?
I answered the phone right away when you called, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah, but I didn't have you plugged in though.
I'm sitting here pushing all kinds of buttons on my phone thinking it was me. Hashtag double professionals.
Yeah. I think they were in the beginning. They were trolling me. When I first started the show, I seen a hashtag professional in there. I said, "Oh, damn it! I didn't turn the sound on again." So I went and turned the sound on, but it was already on. And I said, "Now these people are just messing with me." But
yeah,
then, sure enough, I don't plug you in when you call.
One of these days, these people are going to have to figure out we're just doing this on purpose.
Yeah. Well, shh.
Kind of like me oversleeping this morning.
It's funny it's funny you should mention that. I overslept by about 30 minutes this morning too. I had a hard time getting up this morning myself.
What's your excuse?
Worked late last night. Will that work?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay.
Me too.
Okay. Hashtag
hey,
me too.
You seen that movie Liar Liar? Jim Carrey.
Yeah, he's a lawyer or something in that one?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, okay, yeah.
The judge asked him how his night was, and he said, "I'm a little bit upset about a bad sexual experience I had last night." That's my excuse today.
That is funny. That is oh God, sorry. That's a great movie, and yeah, some of the funniest parts of that movie are when he's in the courtroom and he can't tell the lie.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That is hilarious. Yeah, God, I haven't seen that movie in years. You know, my kids are too young to have went through the Jim Carrey sort of craze that happened 15 years ago when all those movies were coming out or whatever. But about 3 or 4 years ago, they got a hold of a Jim Carrey movie. I don't even remember which one it was, and they ended up watching like 4 or 5 of them. I know Liar Liar was one of them. I can't remember what the other ones were, but they like those movies. And it's hard to find. My kids don't like to watch old movies for some reason. And by old, I mean like 15, 20 years ago even. Even if it's a good movie, and I don't know if this is some sort of superpower ability that kids are born with or what, but they can watch a movie from like 15 years ago, and within 15 minutes, they can tell it's like a 15 or 20-year-old movie. And they're like, oh, this is an old movie. Like, I guess it's not, I don't know. They just can tell by the way it looks or whatever, and they hardly won't even give it a chance. But they did go through a Jim Carrey thing, and they did the same thing with Adam Sandler. There was a bunch of Adam Sandler movies on Netflix a couple of years ago, and they probably watched 4 or 5 of those old Adam Sandler movies, and they like those too. But
What about Will Smith and Eddie Murphy? They ever gone through those?
um,
Some of those Eddie Murphy movies, man, those were the deal. And to answer Christy's question in the comments there, no, she got lucky. Nothing happened. Nothing but some really bad embarrassment on my part. But that's a different story for a different day.
You know, they have a pill you can take for that.
Not that kind of embarrassment.
But anyway, welcome everyone to the morning show with Uncle Lou and BVD. Mark Rogers, we'll be adding Mark Rogers here in a few minutes. So, Mr. Rogers, if you're listening, Mr. Rogers, it sounds weird to say that. Mr. Rogers, won't you be my neighbor?
Good morning.
We'll be adding you here in just a few minutes. Hang tight, hang in tough. Were you a New Kids on the Block fan, BVD? You can tell the truth. No one's listening.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I was a metalhead.
I was in, I guess, about 5th, 6th grade when they sort of blew up or whatever. I remember like every girl in the school went to the concert when it came here or whatever.
Wait a minute. Which ones was New Kids on the Block?
The Hanging Tough people.
What's another one of theirs? I think I know which ones you're talking about now. Yeah, I actually, a couple of their songs I did like, actually.
Come on, everybody.
Had to keep that to myself, of course. Don't want to tell your long-haired hippie friends you're sneaking off and listening to that.
NKOTB. Come on, everybody, if you want to take a chance, just get on the floor and do the New Kids dance. We're gonna get
now.
We're gonna get BVD on video doing the New Kids dance, whatever that is. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the ones that did "Cool It Now." I think that's them.
Yeah, it turns out I think you're more of a New Kids fan than you're willing to let on, because I don't know what you're talking about with that "Cool It Now." So
that's it. That's New Edition. That's why. It wasn't New Kids. So thankfully I was right in the beginning. I was not a New Kids fan. So I'm going with my original story.
Yeah. Do that.
That's your homework. You gave me homework Wednesday. That's your homework for the weekend. You got to listen to Cool It Now.
All right. I did some homework this morning before the show started. And man, I got a moment in BVD history for these people this morning. I'm gonna play.
Oh boy.
Boy, did I go. I went deep, sir. Deep
Phew.
back in the BVD archives, sir. Let me just give you a date here. Tell me if this date rings a bell, BVD. March 6th, 2010.
March 6th, 2010. I'm going to go with I'm pretty sure I'm right with you on that one.
Yeah. Boy, this moment in BVD history. And I only watched the first 10 seconds of the video, and I said, yeah, this will work. So I haven't watched it either, so we'll all see it together here.
If it's
here
the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, because I'm sure you can remember what you did on March 6th in 2010. 10 years ago. So, anyway, appreciate all you guys tuning in this morning. I know it's been a strange week here on the channel because of everything that has happened. So I'm glad you guys have found the new channel and have tuned in this morning. It means a lot to me. I will post the PayPal link in the description right now. If one or two or whatever, if a few of the mods could copy this link that I'm posting right now Don't spam the comment section with it, but if someone happens to ask, Celine Driver says, can I get my PayPal donation back? I'm pretty sure you can, actually. PayPal will give you your money back, I'm pretty sure. So go ahead. But if a couple of the mods could copy that link that I just posted in the comment section, don't spam the comments with it, but you know, once every 10 minutes or something, if you could post it, or if you see somebody asking, why is there no super chat button? Yes, there's no super chat button. This is a new channel, but I'm working on that. BVD crossed the 1,000 hour threshold. So well on the way, sir. Are you, is that good, bad? Are you proud? What, anything you want to say about that?
Thinking about right on track.
Yeah.
I'm thinking a sleep stream might be in order.
No.
Kidding.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
You're not the first one to make that suggestion, but no.
Yeah.
That
I was
won't be
going to
happening.
the first night. I was going to, but
No.
somebody beat me to it.
But 1,000 hours is not bad for a channel I created at 2:00 Monday afternoon. So I'm happy. I'm happy with that. I'm 25% of the way there, basically. And you know, YouTube's a day or so behind, so it's probably actually a little more than that. But right at
Somebody
1,000
asked
hours
me.
right now.
Somebody asked me last night. I wonder why Lou's only got like 590 subscriptions on his new channel. I'm like, well, a lot of our guys that watch our stuff this time of year, they're not even. A lot of these people don't even turn YouTube on. A lot of our people
no,
are
that's true.
Strictly football season only.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. I mean, you know.
Plus, I'm sure you had one or two troll accounts. You know,
Maybe there might have been one or two out of those 29,000 that were troll accounts.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm curious what's longer, my subscription list on my old channel, which was almost 30,000, or my block list on the old channel, which was
almost
also
30,000.
close to 30,000.
Yeah.
That was the biggest, like, that gave me anxiety. I was like, oh my God, I've got to create a new channel. There's no way to, like, import my block list from the old channel. The good news is, you know what these trolls do? They create an account, you block it, they create another account. They forget that account ever existed. So most of these accounts, like, you know, Uncle Lou is gay, and, you know, Lou's son, blah, this, that, and all, you know, that kind of stuff. They probably wouldn't know how to log back into that account if you paid them $100. They've done moved on to 100 different troll accounts from the time I originally blocked those. So
Did you ever, back in the old days, ever do the sub for sub thing?
no. Mm-mm.
I watched somebody, and they both shall remain nameless. I watched somebody we know get jumped on by somebody else we know for having a couple of sub for sub accounts.
Yeah. Well, I know Sleeta does it.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, why are you jumping on this dude? It's his channel.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to go get 1,000 sub for subs, that's his business.
Yeah. I mean, I get why people do it, but it doesn't take you very long to be on YouTube to realize, and I mentioned this when I had to, the other day when I had to create this new channel, the number of subs you have is really just like a bragging point and not really anything else. It doesn't directly correlate to views or money or anything else. I mean, I
think it's about 10%. That's what I've come up
probably
with.
so.
10%.
Yeah, I mean, I have almost 30,000 subscribers on that other channel, and this time of year I get 2,000 or 3,000 views per video. And even during the football season, my average view per video is probably 10,000. You know, now if Georgia loses, you know, but you know how that goes. But so subscriber count really is not really it's not a truly accurate. Now, it does matter because, like, there's 45 people watching now. If I was doing this show on the other channel, there'd be 145. So I'm not going to pretend that the sub count doesn't matter at all, but it's not the end-all, be-all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed last night. I don't think you ever got over 100 people last night, and I was thinking, man, what's up? And the first night you were on here did really well with viewership.
Well,
I know, of course, everything was fresh that first night, you know, and people always want to come see what the drama is all about.
People tuned in for a battle royal Monday night, and then I don't know, maybe they were disappointed they didn't get it, but you know, I that's what the trolls want, and I can't give them that. So, but hey, we do this show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. The morning show with Uncle Lou and BVD. And then we have the Tuesday night show that I do every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. And next week, I'm going to do this show 5 days a week. I'm not making any promises for what will happen after that. I was joking around a few minutes ago. But there have been several people since I started this thing asking me why not just do it 5 days a week. I'm going to do it next week for, a lot of people are out of work and school and whatever, so maybe this is a good time to try it 5 days a week. Maybe in theory, I guess there's more people that are able to watch right now than typically would be if not for the coronavirus. So I'm going to give it a shot. My original plan was to sort of keep it 3 days a week till the start of the football season, or maybe a month before, and maybe ramp up to 5 days. But I'm going to give it a shot next week. And I was joking around last night when I brought this up, but I really didn't even mention this to BVD before I said it last night, and I still haven't talked to BVD about it, really. So, but it's completely up to you, BVD, what you decide to do with that. 5 days a week is a big obligation. I get that, and so I'm talking to you about it now. But so it's completely up to you what you decide to do. But I'm going to give it a shot for 5 days a week next week. And let's be real, I could use the extra videos on this channel right now. So that I'd be lying if I said that didn't have something to do with it. And so being honest with you guys, but so that's the plan for next week. We'll do it 5 days next week, and we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to make any promises or obligations on what happens after that. But to those of you that have been saying, why not do it 5 days? Okay, you win. I'll do it 5 days next week for you. Your thoughts, Mr. BVD?
I'm okay with it. I'm like you, if it doesn't seem like it's worth it, as far as worth it's a hard thing to validate. That's really not what I meant. If on Tuesday and Thursday we've got 10 people in here, we'll see. I'm down for anything.
We will see, said the blind boy.
Mm-hmm. Can I hear you?
Said the deaf man.
Yes.
Yeah.
What the hell was that? Said the Tennessee fan.
Oh, that was another giant L.
Yeah, boy. Not going to be any of those this year, though, Lou.
There isn't going to be any of that, huh? No L's for Tennessee this year.
No.
None.
We did catch a big L last night. I don't know if you're aware.
I wasn't until I actually saw your after my live show last night. You probably do late night streams sometimes. Like I am tired when I end those nighttime streams. Like last night I streamed a football game after the regular show, so it was like probably 12:15 or so when I ended the stream. So I am tired when those streams end. But it's hard to go from this to let me lay down and close my eyes and go to sleep. It's impossible. And I remember my dad, he's been a factory worker his whole life. He's retired now, retired about a little over a year ago, but he used to work swing shifts. So like 1 week he would work a normal schedule, like 7 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. But then the next week he would work like 3 in the afternoon to 11 at night. And then the following week he would work nights, 11 at night to 7 in the morning. And for years it rotated like that every week. And I remember him saying all the time that 3 to 11 shift is the hardest one, because you come home, you get home at 11:30, your dog tired, but you can't just get right in the bed and go to sleep because your mind is still going or whatever. And that's the same thing. So.
That whole wind down period.
Yeah, I end the show at 12, and I am tired at 12 at night. I mean, hell, I'm an old man, BVD. I got to get my sleep. But so I am tired at 12, but it's hard for me to go right to sleep when I end these nighttime shows. So anyway, I went inside last night and was watching some TV in the living room, and then I got up to let the dogs out. The dogs wanted to go out, and I was sitting on the back porch, and I watched your video. And, first of all, I didn't know that about y'all's strength coach leaving. But even stranger than that, or worse than that, and you mentioned it, is it what's the number of strength coaches y'all have had in 10 years or whatever that statistic you said in the video?
This next one will be 10 in 13 years.
Just think about that. I mean,
that's not good at all.
Right. Man, 10 strength and conditioning coaches in the last 13 years. That is unreal. Yeah.
I feel a joke coming on your behalf, or a shot or something.
No joke. I didn't know about that, and like I said, I watched your video, and because think like you want your coaches. I mean, consistency is great at any coaching position, but like think about enrolling at Tennessee. There's a strength coach there. He teaches you a regimen. He's like, you do this. You know, maybe you show up a little bit underdeveloped physically as a freshman or whatever. And, you know, you do this. You do what I tell you to do. You eat this. You work out these hours, these days. This is what you do. I promise you, by your sophomore year, you'll be at this weight and you'll be doing this and yeah. And you start to do that, and then the following spring, a brand new strength and conditioning coach comes in and tells you, okay, forget everything that other guy told you. This is actually what you should be doing. That does have to have an effect.
Yeah, especially when it's happening every other year or sooner. If you ask any, and like I said last night, if you ask any college football player, you know, which one of their coaches is most important, 9 out of 10 are going to tell you their strength guy. They spend more time with them than anybody. They probably get more direct teaching. And it's, you know, for those of you that don't believe strength and conditioning is not important, Tennessee's a prime example. It's the first thing Jeremy Pruitt talked about when he got there was in the SEC. You got to have big trucks. And we need bigger trucks.
I'm writing down Mark Rogers' phone number because we're going to call him here in a minute.
Yeah, speaking of phone numbers, I haven't seen him here in the comments, but there's a certain 18-year-old that I'm not letting off the hook. You haven't mentioned it in the last several shows. You've been preoccupied, and I get it. But our little buddy Ballard, if you're watching and just not commenting, I have not forgotten you, sir. You owe Uncle Lou and another certain group of fine American individuals an apology, and I'm not letting that go.
Yeah, I actually saw him in the comment section last night, and he did say something about let him know when the call-ins are. He wants to do that, so he hasn't forgotten either. And like you said, it's been a weird week around here, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. We got a couple of people. We got a couple of people here who were kind enough to support the show by clicking that PayPal link. Let me give a shout out to Celine Driver. He says, congrats on deciding to go to 5 days a week next week on the morning show. My brackets are undefeated. I haven't lost a single game in my bracket either, so me and you have that in common, Celine Driver. He says the Gators spring training is going perfect. Boston Bruins are winning the Stanley Cup. Kyle Busch is in the NASCAR championship. Everything is great in my mind. Have a good morning,
Mr. Celine Driver. The St. Louis Blues are still your Stanley Cup champion. So stick that in your Boston Bruin pipe and smoke it, mister. Everybody else is like, huh? Hockey?
What? Hockey? Hey? You telling me these people don't watch hockey, eh?
They should.
Michael G., thank you for hitting that PayPal button, sir. He says, good morning, my friends. I ended up not getting the memo about the new channel. Finally made it over here for the morning show, though. Looking forward to co-hosting next Wednesday. Yeah, we're looking forward to it, too.
If it makes him feel any better, I'm not getting any notifications on the new channel. And obviously, I'm subbed. Obviously, the bell has been rang.
Yeah.
And so that's our boys hard at work down at the mothership station.
Why YouTube trying to hold me down? I don't get it. Let's add Mark Rogers to the show. You know, I haven't heard from him in 3 or 4 days. Hopefully hopefully he's ready. I haven't seen him in the comments either, but
Yes.
hell, I'm gonna call him anyway. I really don't care, you know. He's probably clicking on the other channel, going, "How come Lou's not doing his morning show?"
Yeah, what's up, man?
All right, let's see how this goes.
Hello?
Mr. Rogers.
Hey, Lou.
Yes, this is Lou here. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing just fine. What's going
Yeah. You remember you were on the show this morning, didn't you? Because I forgot to remind you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just sent you an email
Oh, okay, great.
just a couple minutes ago to
Okay.
say, yeah.
Good, good.
I hope everything's
And
okay.
then I had the whole thing with the new channel, so I was like, maybe he didn't. Maybe he doesn't know. So he's like clicking.
Oh, I
on.
didn't keep up with any of that.
Yeah. So anyway, but we're on. So yep, you're on. BVD's on the line too. BVD, say hello to the voice of college football.
Yeah, what's happening there, Mr. Voice of College Football? I like the way you said I didn't keep up with any of that. Smart decision on your part.
Okay. Well, no, I did not. I'm clueless. I just set my alarm for 8:15 and
Yeah.
And
You did good.
it crossed my mind to double check what was going on last night, but
No, it's
that was
fine.
pretty much it. But
Temporary here on a backup channel. No big deal. Yeah. Anyway, hey, listen. Here's what I'm dying to know. Now, I don't normally. Everyone knows. If you're in the comment section, this is Mark Rogers. Of course, most of you are probably already subscribed to him. But if you're not, hit him up. Mark Rogers TV. That's the name of the channel, right? Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football.
There it is.
Right. Look it
Absolutely.
up. YouTube. This YouTube search it. You'll find it. Sub him up. I don't normally I don't like to say if I know something about somebody, I don't like to say it, but you talk about this all the time. You've said it on this show. So you work for the mothership. What's the atmosphere like there right now with nothing to talk about?
Well, I'm going to be a little bit careful in regards to, I've had people ask me about people's schedules and that sort of thing, so I'm not going to go there because, any kind of information that we receive within the company or within management teams and so forth, obviously I've got to keep that under wraps. But yeah, I think the vibe or the atmosphere is in small pockets similar to what you see out there in the rest of the world or in social media. But no, I just scan my Facebook, so I'm going to stay away from that because it's not like that. But because I would say it's a lot more very determined and professional. We've got just an amazing amount of people that are determined and to do what they're asked to do.
Yeah.
And so the company's taking all the kind of precautions that you would expect and that follow in line with everything else that you're seeing out there in regards to big limitations and safety precautions across the board and trying to figure out every possible way to conduct business with the least amount of people and the least amount of people in areas together. And just, you could go down the list of what you would think the precautions would be in regards to sanitization and all that sort of thing, and that's what's being done. But in terms of the vibe or the mood, it's kind of eerie wherever you go.
It's got to be.
People.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that everywhere.
We do this on YouTube. We
Yeah.
come on here and we talk sports and college football and that. But ESPN has built. Everyone knows. ESPN when it comes to sports. I know it's like the in fashion thing now. Oh, I hate ESPN. Everyone's lying. That's all they watch is ESPN. But then they run to somewhere and type that they hate it. But they're for 40 years, like sport. They're one of the biggest. When it comes to sports, like I don't know if there's anybody on planet Earth who doesn't know what ESPN is, and the way sports are spread out in the United States and around the world, there's always one or two leagues going on, whatever the league is, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, whatever. There's always something going on. And for it all just to go away basically overnight, I mean, it seems like forever ago that the NBA suspended the season. That was only 8 or 9 days ago. And in that 8 or 9 days, everything sports related is just gone. And it's just, it's got to be, like you said, it's strange everywhere. I mean, you go wherever you go, there's half the people there that are normally there, whatever it is. But for somebody like ESPN, it's just got to be surreal that you have just built this monster on sports, and basically overnight it's just gone, and you don't know when it's coming back. It's got to just be the weirdest feeling over there. I don't know. Strange.
They don't call it the mothership for nothing, right?
You remember how when you were in school and, like, Christmas break is coming up, and then you have that last day of school before Christmas break, or even the last day of school before summer break, and yeah, you're there, you go, but you're not doing any schoolwork. You're coloring in pictures all day long or what. I mean, you just know all you're doing is you're just there just to be there. That's kind of sort of what it's like with sports now. Like, I still show up here on YouTube because I have a college football and a sports channel, so I still show up here like I'm supposed to. But like, I went to eat just out of habit every day before I start this morning show. One of the things I look at is ESPN's landing page for college football. Their lead story on their landing page for college football is an article that they did 66 days ago, the top 150 players of all time. Normally, it would be just slap full of spring practice news, position battle news. This person got hurt at spring practice yesterday. This QB situation is getting interesting, whatever. And it's just the best they could do is an article from 66 days ago.
So Mark, Lou and I, this time of year, and specifically now that this whole Corona thing's going on, it gives us an opportunity to talk about a lot of things non-sports related. Is that something you're going to take into consideration doing, or are you just going to stick to keeping it rolling with the college football?
Well, taking into consideration is a good term right there, because, it's crossed my mind. I know that I've had suggestions in the past, even when college football was rolling, about delving a little bit deeper just into, what I've got going on in my life, and have people suggest that, have people ask that, all those things, because most of the successful YouTube channels, unless they really deal with something that helps you, either makes you money or solves a problem in your life, which college football doesn't either, in terms of talking about it. So it's amazing that people want to hear us talk about it all the time. Most of the successful YouTubers either solve a problem or make you money, or they build a personal brand that people just invest in because they like to hear about your life and what you got going on and all those things. So that would be one direction to go in. And then another direction is to, open up a little bit more about what's going on in these days and times, considering what we're facing now. Or, it's under consideration. Yeah. Do I feel a little silly releasing videos once all this started to get serious with the Florida linebacker preview and the Georgia wide receiver preview? Yeah. People should understand that just about all of that was recorded way before anybody we knew this was going on, but it was, affecting, 13 people in the United States at the time. So I recorded all that much earlier. Not that certain amount of people don't want to just try to ignore what's going on, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. You gotta have some kind of release and entertainment, but that's it's always under consideration when you don't think things are working out as well as you would like, or just trying to figure out how this could be best packaged or how I could relate to people better. So that's always under consideration. But, yeah, this situation, yeah, who knows if we're going to play a college football season in the fall or going to play in front of fans or what the circumstance is going to be. So, absolutely.
What's your thought on that? What's your initial thoughts on whether we will have football or not this fall?
My initial thoughts are that about 3 weeks ago, if you would have asked me that question, I would have given you like a 90% certainty that we're playing football in the fall. Now that has dropped in my mind, and I want everybody listening to understand I'm no expert. I'm taking in the same information that all of you are. I'm trying to stay balanced between, and always do in these situations, between, ignorance and bliss and everything will be fine and don't worry about it versus panic and paranoia. So, I take a cautionary approach. I stay safe, keep my loved ones safe, do all those things, but I'm not somebody who's fearful or panicking about such situations because it doesn't do any good. But, I think I'm understanding that the length of time is most likely longer than what a lot of people would hope it would be. Things like this don't get cured and under control overnight.
I should have asked you this first off, but I'm an inconsiderate a-hole maybe. But you mentioned keeping your loved ones safe. Is everybody okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I appreciate you asking.
That's good. Yeah, I've asked the last couple of live shows I've done, and I've yet to even find someone in my comment section who either has it or even knows someone that has it. There was a couple people last night who said maybe they worked with somebody or something. I guess that was the closest I've seen, but I think it's just a matter of time. That will not be the case, unfortunately. It's gonna get worse before it gets better.
So that's a great question that you're asking right there, because I've asked a lot of people that same question, just as an unofficial barometer of what's going on out there and who's being affected. I've asked a lot of people that question. Is anybody affected that you know or you know of in terms of not a celebrity, but anybody that you know, and I have yet to run across anyone.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to weigh what that really means, whether, all the testing that's finally coming, are we going to get hit with a barrage of, people that we know soon? Or, and you know what, if we make it through this thing in much better shape than what's maybe going through all of our minds right now, I still believe that precautions that are being taken are the better route to go. And again, I'm not a guy that's been running to the store, loading up on toilet paper. I'm not that guy, but I still think the precautions, considering, what we've seen happen with similar viruses and I'll put this word on it, plagues, for lack of a better term, throughout history have done to populations of people that, sitting in our houses and separating ourselves for a few weeks or a month or whatever it turns out to be is a small price to pay.
You mentioned the word plague, and, I remember learning about that in school and all that kind of stuff and just thinking, how did people just not know? But think about how much more advanced we are now, both in terms of gathering information. I mean, we knew about this thing starting in China months ago and all the medical advances and all that. And still, if this was 200 years ago, this could be the type of thing that wiped out 25% of the world's population or something, if this was happening. I mean, so you look at the plague and you sort of scratch your head and go, how'd that happen? Well, this is how it happened. This and not knowing nearly as much as we know now. And BVD asked, when he asked you, how do you how do you sit around and talk about college football and this kind of thing is going on? I hate to make this comparison, and I know they're not really that similar, but if you remember back, for those of us who are old enough, to 9/11, there was a couple of days where it was sort of like that. People didn't know. Like, I remember seeing interviews with, like, Dave Letterman and Howard Stern, and they're like, I feel like an ass going back in here and coming out and telling jokes or whatever, but it turned out that's part of what people needed when that was going on. A sense of normalcy, a distraction from, all the terrible news that you were hearing. And I don't know. I think even though there's no actual college football going on right now in terms of spring practice, I still do think that, there's people that will tune in and listen, because where else can you get this right now? I mean, you turn the TV on. I mean, even the major networks are cutting off their programming for like 2 hours every afternoon, and it's just like a coronavirus special every afternoon from like 4 to 6, and then, not to mention the cable news channels. I mean, it's all you hear is coronavirus. So I think you do have to keep the coronavirus in mind, but I think it's okay to also keep in mind that, we're college football fans. It's okay to talk about that too from time to time. And the other thing is, a lot of times when these big news stories pop off, well, first of all, a lot of times they're political stories that you'll see somebody comment about in the comment section or something, and clearly we all try to stay away from those. But this is a huge story but college football is involved in this story, as is every other industry and sport and job on earth, really, with the canceling of spring practice. So it's almost impossible not to talk about the coronavirus at all, even if you have a college football channel, because right now the biggest story in college football is the coronavirus. So it's just sort of I don't know, it's a weird time.
And when I make
quarantines,
a comment about taking precautions and taking that to the hilt, I also want to understand, and I do, that I don't want to weigh fatalities and health versus money or the economy, but this is of a larger impact financially and becoming more and more to a greater amount of people. So all those precautions have to be taken in consideration of that and how we're hurting people in that direction. So I think for the most part, the approach has been reasonable in regards to, because otherwise, hey, if you want to keep everybody safe, then you tell everybody stay in your house, lock the doors, keep everybody in a separate bedroom, there you go. But obviously, we have to service people. We have to keep people employed to a certain extent, even though people are losing their jobs. We got to keep going as a nation to a limited degree, because then we're going to affect a whole bunch more people, and they're not going to have a place to live or anything to eat in a few weeks or a couple months that live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, it's scary, and we talked when we first got you on about, who do you know that has this disease, and you can't hardly find anybody, it seems like, but everybody is going to be affected economically one way or another.
Everybody, I think everybody already has.
Yeah, whether it's as severe as oh my God, I just got laid off, or your spouse gets laid off, or half your town is shut down, and it's just it's terrible. I never thought I would see again with the 9/11. New York closed down basically for a few days there, a week, whatever. This is coast to coast, and there's no end in sight. And it seems like every single day when I watch the news at night, more things are closing or shutting down, or the entire state of California is on a stay-at-home order now. Every business, unless you're a grocery store, a pharmacy, or a doctor's office, you're not allowed to open your business in California. You're not supposed to leave your house except to go to one of those three places. It's unbelievable. I never thought I would see anything like this. It is surreal.
that may be coming nationwide sooner than people want to admit.
Yeah. Well, they got
I
as
meant
soon
to
as
ask
spring.
you,
See, as soon as spring break ends.
meant to ask you earlier, Mark, when Lou asked about ESPN, and obviously, I'm not asking for names or anything like that, but has ESPN, how badly have they been affected with like some of the behind the scenes guys not having anything to do right now? Are they having to give people time off, or if that's even anything you can talk about?
Yeah, I'm going to tread a little lightly there, but yeah, just consider that if you look beyond ESPN, the network, if you go to the other networks we run, ESPN2, ESPNU, the SEC network, the ACC network, and we've got international networks. We've got, at last count that I remember, 20 networks. And I used to work in the department that actually ran the master control for the networks. Work in a different area now, but yeah, just look at the number of studio shows. Basically, we're running SportsCenter. We're back up running NFL Live, and there's just a limited number of things to talk about or shows that we're going to do versus what we would be doing normally. Not even talking about all the games that would be on right now. We would have just come through championship week in college basketball. Obviously, that was shut down, the first day or two of championship weekend, the NBA games that we show every week. So from a game standpoint, like Lou talked about, there's nothing versus there being a very active month of March. So that goes without saying. But then the studio shows that supplement those are pretty much very limited. And so you got a limited number of people in those areas that are required, that are needed.
I was thinking, and probably most people that watch our stuff don't, and just the common sports fan in general probably doesn't think about this, but I was thinking every NBA game pretty much is televised. Every hockey game is televised. And what people don't think about is for each one of those games that's televised, there's, I don't know the number, but you might know this, there's probably 20, 25 people at every one of those arenas that are in charge of production. That somebody's got to push a button to change from camera to camera. Somebody's got to be in control of, okay, you're next, stuff like that. And most sports fans don't think about that. So all of those guys right now are out of work, or at least, doing something else within their company. That's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got a director, depending on the level of production, from low-level college basketball game to an NFL Monday Night Football game. Obviously, there's a huge difference there, but still, even at the lowest level, common denominator, directors, producers of the game, technical directors, at least somewhere in the range of 7 or 8 cameras, even on a Division III college basketball game on ESPNU, and then on and on, audio people, engineers, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, a lot of people involved. Your number's pretty close.
And even the on-air talent for like some of the live, like what you keep saying, studio shows, it's just like the cable news channels at night where they have a host, but then it's basically just 4 people sitting around a table or something. They're talking about whatever news is going on. You watch those shows, it's just the host. That's it. Everyone else is at home on Skype. There's probably a lot of that going on with some of these live shows that ESPN is doing too, where, instead of having all 4 or 5 of the people from NFL Today or whatever it is come in and do the show in studio, they're probably spread out. I mean, it's just a giant mess. And let me ask you this, Mark. Do you have any toilet paper?
Yeah.
Okay.
I happen to be pretty well stocked up, and that was I have not bought one roll since all this came down, but and that may come back to bite me. We'll see. But despite me in the you-know-where, of course. But, yeah, we seem to be in decent shape right now. We're for
good.
weeks and weeks, we'll be in good shape.
I was
I
worried
hope
about you.
everybody out there has made their mad dash to, well, obviously they have, because and you could sleep on the shelves where the toilet paper is.
Yeah, I remember when I first started seeing things on the news about the toilet paper, I was like, "What? No way!" So I went and I said, "Well, let me go just in case." So I went to the store I always go to, and it was just hundreds of rolls of toilet paper everywhere, and I was like, "Okay," I figured they were blowing this out of proportion. So I grabbed one roll or one package or whatever of, 12 rolls of Angel Soft like I normally do, and came home. Literally, like 2 days later, I had to go back to that same store for a different reason, something for dinner or something. And there was not a single roll of toilet paper anywhere in the store. So it was like, panic set in here like overnight, and everything was gone. It was unbelievable.
Well,
No
for all
meat.
of the for all of the technical folks in sports out there that are out of work right now, I imagine that the toilet paper industry is booming right now.
Yeah, you got to think that they're, this is like World War II, running the airplane factories, nonstop, preparing for, the next few months. Yeah, there's just been a run on it. And as I was explaining to my daughter when all this was really starting to ramp up, and for me, being so sports connected and working right in the middle, where it really started to hit home was, that night when the NBA shut down and suddenly we've got 2 NBA games on the air and one of them's not going to be played, and we're scrambling around trying to figure out what we're going to have on the air, and then preparing for, ESPN, when it comes to college basketball on championship week, the games are running from noon to midnight pretty much on every network, and figuring out, what's going to be on the air. But let my daughter know, just taking her to the store one of those nights and saying, this is what happens when a small amount of people panic, and that causes other people who normally wouldn't panic to panic, because there might be something to panic about now because of those people that were panicking for maybe little reason and hoarded up all the whatever, fill in the blank. The toilet paper seems to be the big one. And now we've got other people panicking who otherwise wouldn't be panicking. So it's snowballing here.
I read a story last night, a little bit of a story, and then I sort of read up on it some more this morning. And this is the first thing so far during this sort of situation that has really pissed me off. But I guess about 4 weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago, about a week before all this mass hysteria started, some senators were given a closed-door briefing on the coronavirus situation. They came out of that briefing, and 2 senators in particular gave interviews saying, everything's fine, everything's under control. 5 minutes later, each of those 2 senators sold about $2 million each worth of stock. And they're finding themselves in some hot water this morning. And normally when that kind of, Congress and Senator and all that, they're going to know things that we don't know. And, if they use that, obviously they use that to make a little bit of money. We're not naive. We know that happens. But this really looks like they knew something really bad was about to happen. Not only did they profit from it, by one of them sold like 1.7 million in stock. One of them sold 1.2 million in stock, like literally an hour after they got this briefing. Not only did they do that, but then they go out and give interviews telling everyone else everything's fine. And that pisses me off. I have a problem with that. One of them is a senator from Georgia too, so there's actually something I can do about that.
Yeah, I saw the same headlines. I didn't read any of the stories, but it's not difficult to see what happened there. So you
Right.
can just see the headline and read the first paragraph. And I've seen multiple stories on the same thing, and same thing ran through my head is, what an abuse of power, and what approach to leadership.
And just to give people an idea of how out of bounds this is, these two people just happen to be Republican. Not that doesn't matter. It could have just as easily had been Democrats, and we may find out today that some Democrats did it too. But the two that are known right now are Republicans. Just to let you know how out of bounds this is, Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson, if you know who that is, called for them to resign. So if you're a Republican senator and Tucker Carlson is calling for you to resign, you have royally screwed up at that point, because most of the people on that network will cover up everything on that side, just like most people on the other network will cover up everything on the other side. So if Tucker Carlson is saying that what you did is so wrong, you need to resign, and you're a Republican, you're in trouble. But that made me mad. I mean, I've seen some things that I've been like, man, that's like people buying up the toilet paper. That's stupid. But right now I have toilet paper, so I haven't got to the point of being mad about it yet. But and some other things, maybe somebody says something here or there, and I'm like, God, that was stupid. But this really pissed me off that they would attend that top secret closed door meeting, clearly were told what was coming, immediately leave the meeting, sell $2 million worth of stock, and then give interviews telling everyone else everything's fine. That I have a big problem with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The waitress
we
can't
should
feed
have
her
a big
kid.
problem with that.
The waitress can't feed her kid because she's out of work, so she's not making her $80 a night or whatever it is in tip money. And here these people are. I mean, just sort of on the opposite end of the spectrum. Something that didn't make me mad, but I thought was hilarious is this. I can't remember his first name. Is it Mark? He's a House of Representatives guy. Gates is his last name. Goetz. Like 3 or 4 weeks ago, he showed up to work at Congress wearing a World War II gas mask to make fun of people who were freaking out about the coronavirus. He was one of these it's a hoax people. He shows up and works all day on the floor of the House of Representatives wearing this World War II gas mask as a joke. Literally, like 3 days later, he had to self-quarantine for 14 days because he was in the same room with somebody who had it, and he got so scared he hid in his closet for 2 weeks. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I wonder how that asshat's feeling.
You almost
right
hope he got
now.
it. I mean, I don't hope he got it, but like that's one of those situations where you're like, he would almost. I wouldn't want him to die, but if he had flu symptoms for a few days, it wouldn't hurt my feelings.
I am far from the wisest person out there, the smartest guy out there, but when people don't understand what they don't understand and understand what they don't know, if I'm in that position, even if it's running through the back of my mind, this seems like a little bit overblown. I think we're panicking, but I'm in that position as a leader, even a leader within my own family, but let alone I'm in that position. I'm thinking, I got to soak up as much information about this. I'm going to keep an open mind because I have no idea. I don't know. I have a instinct or a clue that this is overblown, but I'm going to keep an open mind about it because I'm not a medical expert. I don't have all the data. I don't have this. I don't have that. I got to sit and watch and see what happens, and then to be able to take that to the next level, to present yourself to be the ass that's going to call everything out and put yourself out on the line. That's beyond idiocy.
Yeah. Yeah, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I'm kind of like you. I'm a lot of the news that goes on, you hear somebody say something. I'm not even the coronavirus, just news in general anymore. And it's like you almost have to dig into whoever's telling you the news. You almost have to dig into their personal biography, and then decide how much of what they just told you you're going to believe. And that's a shame that you have to do that these days, but you do. So with this coronavirus thing, I'm like you. I try to listen to some of these doctors that aren't normal talking heads on TV, like this Dr. Fauci that's on Trump's response team or whatever. He seems like he knows what he's talking about to me. Now, I don't know this guy. I never heard of him until 2 weeks ago, but I guess he works for the National Institute of Health. He's in charge of infectious diseases. And he doesn't seem to have any type of agenda. He's not one of these people that's telling you Get ready to board yourself up in your house for 6 months and all this kind of stuff. But he's also not saying everything's fine. He seems to be sort of in the middle, and I trust what he says, and I think that's what you have to do. You have to find somebody that you hope doesn't have some kind of agenda, because
that's
we're not medical
unfortunate
experts.
about the news cycle and what's happened to the news cycle in the last 10 years.
Right.
I grew up, and maybe I was a little naive, but I grew up watching the news, not being able to detect much of a slant anywhere. ABC, NBC, CBS, on down the line, all the cable. Just, okay, these individuals have jobs to do. They report the news. Sure, is there somewhere in all of our minds wired to lean one way or the other? And maybe that'll find a thread in there somewhere. But basically, it seemed like it was cut down the middle, pretty square. But here in the last 10 years, I think it's because all these news networks figured out a long time ago, people don't want to hear the news. They don't want to hear the facts all the time. Let's give them 10% of that, but 90 other percent, we're going to argue about it and debate and give a bunch of analysts' opinions on everything. And they're all just talking head opinion channels now, and you don't know who to believe.
Do you remember the show Crossfire that used to come on CNN?
Oh, yeah.
That's what started it all. CNN said, "Oh my God, people love this."
Yeah.
It was two people arguing for an hour. That's literally what Crossfire was. They would get some Republican hack and some Democratic hack, and they would just let them argue for an hour, and they televised it. It was called Crossfire, and people loved it. And now all the networks are Crossfire 24 hours a day. Everything is slanted one way or the other, no matter what channel.
And it's still in the sports realm where we love these shows. And when I say we, I'm going to dismiss myself from the we, but generally we love watching a couple dudes argue about, half the time they're arguing about so-and-so said this about so-and-so, and then some other athlete jumped in to say, they're out of bounds, they're out of line, and they're commenting on what somebody else commented about what somebody else commented about.
Right.
It's to follow the storylines are ridiculous at this point. So-and-so tweeted this about Tom Brady, and then somebody else stepped in and tweeted that about the person that tweeted that about Tom Brady, and now we're arguing about that.
The First Take phenomenon at ESPN. That had to be one of the most popular shows on ESPN when it started to take off with Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith, when that thing first took off. And that show was the Crossfire of ESPN. That's exactly what it was. 2 hours of those two arguing. The guy in the middle would just say, "Okay, here's the topic. Go." And it didn't matter what Skip Bayless said. Stephen A. Smith was going to take the opposite opinion, and they would just argue for 2 hours, and people loved it. It had to have been one of the most popular shows at ESPN when it got real big like that. I mean, it's all people talked about was that show, and now every show is that way. It's a shame. And even people, it's gotten so bad now. We complain about it, but now us as just fans watching things, not all of us, but like we watch a football game on TV now, and what do you hear all the time about the broadcasters? I'm sure you hear the same thing I do. I can't stand such and such broadcaster. He's just a Alabama homer. He's just an Ohio State homer. He's just a Clemson homer. Like it's infiltrated every aspect of our life now that we can't take anything we hear at face value. You hear Reese Davis say Alabama's a great team, and automatically, well, of course he's going to say that. He went there. He's always been an Alabama homer. Never mind the fact that Alabama might actually be the best team. I mean, that is, that couldn't possibly be the case. It's got to be that Reese Davis is just a blind homer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel bad for Kirk Herbstreit, man. Kirk Herbstreit, Ohio State fans hate him because he's not homery enough. And everyone else hates him because they think he is a homer. He can't win. Kirk Herbstreit. He just can't win. I feel bad. I feel bad for Kirk Herbstreit.
He's the first name that comes to mind. Yeah. Because when he first was on, and this is not just when he first was on. This was for quite a long time after that. I thought he did a nice job of cutting it straight, and then but he was very open about, hey, we're at Ohio Stadium, going to bring my kids on the set. Hey, they got their Buckeyes jerseys on. Hey, I rooted for the Buckeyes growing up, and I was a Buckeye, and he would talk about it, thinking that, maybe people are reasonable and they understand if they actually are listening to me. I cut it down the middle. I will evaluate, hey, Ohio State got blown out by Florida in the championship game. They're not nearly as good as Georgia or Florida, and I will be able to, if people really listen to me, cut it straight, because I based on my evaluation, I think he does. Not that I agree with everything that comes out of his mouth, but I think he's going to put that away, thinking, man, I gotta. And then, yeah, you're right. The Ohio State fan base has. I've heard a lot of people turn on him from that direction, too.
I hear, as a Georgia fan, I'm not kidding. I'm in a bunch of these Georgia groups on Facebook. Plus, I see the comments on this channel. But literally, anytime David Pollock does not pick UGA on College game day, it's like, they want to cut his head off. How
do you think Tennessee fans feel about Feinbaum?
Sure.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Hey, guys, I appreciate the time. I got to run to a conference call, and I appreciate you guys, BVD. It was nice to talk to you for the first time.
You too, sir.
Uncle Lou, you're welcome anytime, man.
All right, Mark. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Yeah, Mark Rogers there. And I really appreciate him taking the time to come on, too. You guys know or figured out today what it is he does for a living. But this guy is probably, and I've said this before, is one of the hardest working people on YouTube. And I don't know when he sleeps. He's got a full-time job in the sports business with ESPN, and then he probably puts out more videos. I bet he does put out more videos than any other college football video maker. I bet he does. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed hearing from him. He's been on, I think that's the second time he's been on the morning show. He was on one time before, I think back when I first started this, maybe. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed hearing from him. And again, if you're not subscribed to him, you should, especially if you're somebody who's looking for more sort of straight analysis. He's not nearly as opinionated as somebody like me or even BVD or what. He's more of a
what?
Wouldn't you say that, BVD? He's more of a sort of just like a straight, almost like here's the stats, here's the facts, here's the info type of thing. He's not he's not out there trying to get reactions out of people, really. Like,
I'm just appalled that you called me opinionated. Now he in fact he has guests on all the time.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of the fact talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching him more here lately, and this is not a shot at Mark by any stretch of the imagination. What I do is I will turn his streams on and then kind of play it in the background and listen to those guys while I surf around and stuff.
Yeah, and you're talking about the live show. He does a ton of live shows that are dedicated to specific teams.
Yeah.
And so, I know he's got a Miami Hurricanes live show where he has journalists on who cover the Miami Hurricanes. He has them on, talks to them about the Hurricanes. He does the same thing with Florida State. He does the same thing, I believe, with Ohio State. And I'm probably leaving some teams out, but you get the idea. He does a lot of that kind of thing. Live shows where he will have a journalist on that covers that specific team, and it'll be just like an hour-long conversation about just that one specific team. And the comment section is a lot of fun during those live shows on Mark's channel too, because even if it's let's say it's a Florida State show that he's doing, right? And he's got what's the guy's I can't remember the guys' names that he has on. Anyway, he'll have a couple of Florida State journalists on talking about Florida State, but then you go to the comments section, and what does that attract? A bunch of Florida State fans, but also a bunch of Miami Hurricanes fans, a bunch of Florida Gator fans, a bunch of Ohio State fans, whatever, that come there just to sort of troll or trash talk a little in the comments. So the comment section is great on those lives that he does.
Somebody might need to tell Mark about Alonzo because Alonzo is a big time insider for Miami. You know, he knows a lot of boosters. He gets a lot of the inside information that nobody gets. And so, you know, a lot of people are depending on Zoe for their inside hurricane info. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
I think you have a fever.
I'm just repeating what he said. That's all. Being fair and balanced, where normally I'm unfair and off balance.
Who do you think, BVD, is there somebody we should try to get on the morning show that we haven't had on? Somebody, like, who is somebody that people would really enjoy? You know, one of the things I like about this show as a listener, because when I have people on, I'm listening to them, I mean, we did talk a lot of sports with Mark Rogers, but, you know, it's not all sports here. We learn a lot about people when we have them on this show because we talk about all different kinds of things. Who is somebody, maybe they have a channel or whatever, I don't know. Who is somebody that, in the comment section can chime in too, who is somebody we need to have on? Somebody said Trump. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I think we need to work hard on getting Feinbaum on here.
Well, I'm actually being serious, but
I'm only partially being serious about that. But you know, if we could get some of these, I don't even want to call them bigger college football YouTubers per se, because to me they got 200,000 subs. Nobody out there is bigger than us. Damn it.
Well, I only have 600, so.
Yeah, but you're growing daily, sir.
That is true. Oh, Catfish. That might be interesting. I'm sure we could get him on.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's been on the morning. Big Dog Brett is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Top Billing?
Pigskin,
No, I'm not having Top
Pigskin
Billing
Pete.
on. Pigskin Pete. See, you know, the issue, a lot of these people actually have jobs outside of YouTube, which makes it hard.
Yeah.
I don't know what their
Bad
problem
Dog.
is.
We need to get him, but we need to get Bad Dog back on because he's committed to coming on my stream a little bit tonight.
Yeah, I had him on. I think it was. I think it was
on...
Thanksgiving. I think it was the Monday or the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I had him on.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my favorite people. He knows that.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you're not subscribed to Bad Dog, you're nuts.
Hey, back to the coronavirus real quick. You know, I didn't know this. I don't normally watch a lot of news during the day, but with the coronavirus thing going on, I've been watching more than I normally do. And I guess they're doing like a press conference once a day from the White House, where, you know, it's Trump and Mike Pence and the whole team that he's put together or whatever to help deal with this crisis. And so I've been watching that when I get a chance in the afternoons. And I think it was yesterday or the day before I was watching it, and I had to rewind it. I was like, wait a minute, that's like mind-bending news right there that I just heard. But Trump was talking. And I looked this up after he said it and verified it. It is so. This isn't fake news. This is true. What he said is true. But when it comes to this coronavirus, BVD, did you know that people are dying who have never died before?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Like I said, I looked it up, and sure enough, every single person that has died so far from the coronavirus, it was the first time they died.
Wow.
Yeah. So that
maybe we could get some of those people on here. They can talk about their first death experience.
Yeah. So
actually,
that was something.
Had a good suggestion for somebody we could try and get on here, and so good I forgot who it was.
I'd love. Oh, somebody said Funny Man. I would love to have Funny Man on.
EDP. You know, that would never happen because first of all, he would want to charge us.
I might could get
a cameo.
I might could get him on if I got into. Here's my problem with getting ED. See, I don't want to have somebody. When I have people on, I want them to be themselves and do their thing and do what they want to do. And I know me and you cuss on occasion, but generally speaking, I try to keep most of that off of here. And I don't think you could have EDP on. And
I actually think, I don't think, well, I was going to say I don't think EDP cusses and is as vulgar in his daily life as he is on his streams, but I take that back. I've seen him with Dahlia back when he used to do her videos. I've seen him pretty vulgar on there, and you could just see her face drop.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you ask a YouTuber to come on your show, they're going to assume that you want them to be who they are on YouTube.
Maybe we could approach him with the idea of, hey, we'd like to get you on over here so you can be yourself, for 30 or 45 minutes and just kind of let people learn a little bit about the behind the scenes EDP type of thing. It's something we could maybe look into. I don't know. It's just a name I was throwing out there.
Somebody said Lance from Jasper.
Yeah.
Now,
first of all, we'd have to have a translator.
Yeah, I have had some one-on-ones with him live here on the night show a couple of times, but I haven't heard from him in quite some time. Does he even still? I know he had a channel. I don't even know if he still uploads or
I was never subscribed to that guy, so.
But he was out there though.
Troy's Achilles. That's not happening, dude. I don't know if he's joking or not. But.
You know what? Troy's Achilles says, get Uncle Lou's wife on here. That might not be a bad idea.
Think she would do it?
Well, typically she can't do it because she's at work. But if there were ever a time where she wasn't, I could get her to come on. Now, she wouldn't come on. She wouldn't stay on for an hour like typical. But
right.
That might not be that might be entertaining. And all I'll do when she comes on is read questions from the comment section, for Mrs. Lou or whatever. And if there's ever a day where she happens to be off or home for whatever reason, I'm going to bring that up to her tonight and see if that's something she would do. Now, she would call in just like anyone else calls in. She's not coming out here and sitting next to me. I can tell you that now. No rational human being would subject themselves to that. So she won't do that, but that might be interesting. That's actually not the worst idea I've ever heard. Lou Jr. Once school is out, and I mean, I guess technically it's out now, but they still do schoolwork every day from home. So like they're on a schedule here at home. But this summer I'll see if maybe we'll get Lou Jr. out here one morning. He will get on video, I'm sure.
What kind of godforsaken, awful set of parents makes their kids do schoolwork from home?
Right. My kids are wondering the same thing, sir. They're asking the same questions every single day. Harvey Updike, I don't know.
Oh, speaking of Harvey Updike, I was thinking about this a few moments ago. I bet the Barners are happy that this is not football season, because where would they get their toilet paper?
Oh, yeah. I think I made a post or something on Facebook the other day. How are Auburn fans going to burn down Toomer's weed this year without any toilet paper?
Toomer's weed.
Yeah. It's funny.
I
over the years when I'm doing these videos, because they're mostly all off the top of my head, there's been a few times where something has just popped out of my mouth, and it's just really caught on. Jake Fromm, that was an accident, but it blew up so big. Now I say it all the time.
That's the way some of the best things we do happen.
Yeah.
By accident.
I called Toomer's Corner, or Toomer's Oak, Toomer's Weed one time. Now, I called it Toomer's Weed on purpose, but I didn't realize how mad it would make Auburn fans. I just thought it was kind of funny to call it a weed instead of a tree.
You don't get mad at me. Georgia fans used to get mad at me when I would say playing between the bushes. Hey, those are hedges. No, they're bushes.
Yeah, you used to say that, and Law Tides used to call us the bull goats all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But once I figured out how mad the Auburn fans got when I kept referring to it as Toomer's weed, I said, well, mental note, refer to it as Toomer's weed every single time now.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah. It's not any fun unless you just completely drive something into the ground.
Mm-hmm. And you got to find what sticks in somebody's craw, and you got to stick it to them.
Right.
Every time you're talking about the craw.
Yeah, that is the goal. No doubt about it. Anyway, I guess we can wrap things up for today. There's just not a whole lot going on, BVD. I mean, could we sit here and talk about the coronavirus for another hour? Of course we could. And it wouldn't be that hard to do. Chris C., thank you for supporting the show this morning, sir. Thank you for hitting that PayPal link. Don't forget you can attach a note to any PayPal donation you give. Not saying you have to. I just want to make sure you know that is an option in the future. You can attach a note that I would read similar to the way that normally I would read super chats if I had that ability to read. I mean, but thank you for supporting the show this morning, sir. I really appreciate it.
Shout out to CC. Not going to say his real name, but shout out to CC who dropped a couple of bucks in the old BVD PayPal this morning. So thank you, sir.
Man, he's good people.
Get with you, Uncle Lou, so you can actually. Right, he did that the other night too. So thank you 2 times over. And Tim Mathis.
He's good people.
I need to get with you on those, Lou, and give you how much of that to.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, we'll figure all that out. Anyway, anything else, BVD?
Oh, wait a minute. This March 16th video.
Oh shoot! How did I? God, Lee, you saved that. That's the only reason people are still watching. Of course. Okay. You know, there's a segment I've been doing really since I started this morning show called Today in Loutube History, and I don't do it every day, but we're basically like we're in March right now, March of 2020. I will search the Loutube archives, and I will find a video from the month of March, but a different year, and play that. I'm like, oh, remember this video type of thing. Well, we're going to incorporate the same thing with BVD, and I mentioned this to BVD about a month ago, the last time I did a day in Loutube history. But BVD in that month's time has yet to tell me, not once.
First of all, it's only been 2 weeks. Second of all,
whatever, 2 weeks.
I've been searching. I just don't have the vault that you do.
But yeah, you do. Because the video I'm playing is from March of 2010. So since you didn't recommend one, I picked one on my own. So I'm going to play this for you
I'd
guys.
rather you do that anyway.
What's fun about this for me is that I have no idea the context or anything of this video. And that's what's great about going back and watching videos from years and years and years and years and years ago up. Because there's a lot of time videos are made to address a specific situation or whatever that might have been going on right at that particular moment. And we watch it now and we really don't know what it's about. But anyway, so This is from way back in the BVD archives, okay? March 6th, 2010. And let me see if I can look at the title here. Look at the title. I'm going to put the title up here. Look at this. Just look at it. The title of this video is Trolls.
Would you just look at that?
The title of the video is Trolls. See it right up here.
Oh, boy.
So apparently, this is the whole trolling thing is not a new phenomenon, as BVD has a video titled Trolls from 10 years ago. I have not watched this video. I watched like the first 10 seconds of it before I said, yeah, well, the title will work. Let's just do it. So without any further ado, I present to you a moment in BVD history. March 6th, 2010. BVD Trolls. Let's go.
I'm a little behind here, so.
Tonight I'm down in Tennessee.
Saturday morning, running late, but I still had to make my Saturday morning stop at the dumpster.
Now, what everybody's talking about, brought to you by OnStar. If you want to learn more, you visit
About $50 worth of carpet right there. Well, it's 10:30, and it's, as suspected, very busy today. And of course, I got here late, so I didn't get an outdoor spot. Not a one available. They were all full. There's a couple of single spots, but as you see, I took 3 spots today. Taking a chance, $30 for 3 spots. After the ass kicking I took yesterday, I need to make up today. I need to make $200 today. So far, I've made 20. So we shall see. My jeans that I thought would sell like hotcakes are selling like Iraq cakes. Not at all. We're going to talk about this troll business later. Yep, it's 1:25 and it's slowed down considerably. Still got all my carpet. Sold a piece of it today. But there's still some people straggling around. I'll straggle through for about another 2 or 3 hours before I head to the house. And we're going to talk trolls. Well, I know you guys love the doggy shot, so I got to put one in today. Little Yorkie, his name is Gibbs. Look at him. Don't you just want him? Could you just cuddle up and go to sleep with that thing? He's a pretty little boy. So part Yorkie, part Pekingese.
Yes. How much you want for?
You're pretty.
Say thank you.
Well, boys and girls, as per usual, here it is at 5:35. And again, I'm the sole survivor. Not the sole survivor. There's a couple other people that gutted it out. Things started off really, really well today, and it looked like I was gonna blow the damn doors off of this joint with sales. But I counted my money at one point, and I had $75 that I'd made so far, and it never fails. Every time I count my money to see what I've done after I've been here a while, it dies, and that's exactly what happened. We're going to talk about trolls here in a little while. One thing's for sure, I'm leaving with what would appear to be a whole lot less than what I came with. But the truth of the matter is, I just packed the car differently this time. Took my time. Got a little more room. I sold some shit today, but now most of it was $1 here, $2 there. I think the biggest one sale I had all day today was $10. Believe it or not, it was a pair of size 48 jeans. So, but I'll take it. I'm gonna count my money here in a little bit and head back towards Greenville, looking at that big hour and 15-minute ride. Joy, joy. Alright, I'm going to close this video out with talking about our little troll problem in the TTC. Now, someone has claimed that they know who this person is. They've tracked him down to their exact address. Even got some pictures of their house, claiming they're a millionaire.
Sounds familiar.
And even sent me the password to one of the troll accounts, Big Troll Daddy. Sure enough, the password was correct. I was in complete and total belief of this person, that they had found the troll, especially when I signed on to Big Troll Daddy with the password he sent me. And I got to thinking about it. Got to thinking about a couple of things. Number one, if this person could get Big Troll Daddy's password, why wouldn't he get everybody's password and troll them that way? So to me, it just kind of sounds like that he's trying to cover his ass by, quote, helping us out. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit it publicly. You guys know I will. If I'm wrong, I got no problem saying, hey, I fucked up, I was wrong. But another thing, and this is kind of let the cat out of the bag on who I think the troll may be. Okay, hypothetically speaking, we'll just use I'll use Herschel Talker as an example. Okay, Herschel, if you were at one time convicted of a computer crime and put on the pretrial diversion program, meaning if you complete a year's probation without fucking up, they'll expunge your record and not charge you with the crime. Would you take a risk and commit the same sort of crime again and make a damn YouTube video about it? I happen to think that you wouldn't. I know I wouldn't, and I've done some stupid shit as a drug addict in the past. Now, if this person is stupid enough to commit the same exact crime and get on YouTube, whether the video is private or not, and talk about it, then he's even more stupid than I had ever thought when I first met him. I would hate to think that he's the troll. And I hope I'm wrong, but right now I'm convinced, So, person I think that the troll is, convince me otherwise. And in fact, you know who I'm talking about you. Send me my password. If you can send me my password to the Big Ball Daddy account, then I'll believe that you're not the troll. Otherwise, I'm convinced. So there it is. You have my thoughts on the situation. And you guys already know I don't give a shit if you know my address. I've sent my address to plenty of people. Address thing don't scare me because, number one, if people want your address, they can pay and get it. They can pay $2.99 on whitepages.com or whatever the hell it is and get anybody's address they want. So I have no problem giving my address out. That shit don't bother me. Anybody on the internet's bad enough to come over here and whoop my ass, all I can say is come on, my door's unlocked. Here we are again, fucking dealing with trolls.
I have to pause it for 1 second just to point something out here. The door is clearly locked. So,
only you would find that shit.
The door is obviously locked. But yeah, you're a badass.
I mean,
hey, that was my wife's doing. I was married
it's really
back
sickening.
then. Funny guy.
I
Hey,
thought I would never make another video about trolls.
never
Tell
mind.
them, Archie. Tell them what's up. So I'm going to try. I'm going to say this again. This is my last video about
That's
trolls
funny.
until the next one. But if it's you, dude, man up and confess. It's not like we can kick your ass over the internet. Just man up and confess. Drop it, get over it, tell everybody you're sorry, and move the fuck on.
I just wanna say if by chance you were ever this way, look me up, I'll be down.
Oh man, where do we start here? First of all, it makes me feel better to know that even back in 2010, the trolls were undefeated like they are now.
I'm still finishing up the last few seconds of it where I'm behind.
All right.
Anyway, I couldn't hear that. Did I even mention who I thought it was?
No.
Okay.
But I'm curious how that story turned out.
Oh shit, I don't remember. I have to go back and look at the next couple of videos.
Yeah.
I back then, do you remember Sorry Che?
Uh-huh.
That's who I thought it was. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because he was fucking with me hard back then. Excuse the language. I didn't mean to say hard.
Man, now that I watched that video, I do remember you. I had forgot you used to do the flea market thing. I remember seeing you talk about that in some videos now that I see that, though. And I don't know if I've told this story before, but when I was a kid, my granddaddy owned a baseball card shop. Anybody old enough to remember those?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he owned a card shop here in town, baseball, football, basketball cards, the whole thing. Well, about 2 years before he ever actually opened his own baseball card shop, we would go to the flea market every single weekend, and he would set up out there. So I spent a ton of weekends during my middle school years out at the flea market. And it's, if you've never spent any time in or around a flea market, it's its own ecosystem. It's almost like a different world out there, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you meet some very interesting people out there, and you meet some of the nicest people you've ever met out there too. At least that was my
some
experience.
of the weirdest people out there.
There are some
too.
weirdos, no doubt about it. There are some weirdos, but you meet some really nice people out there too. But I had forgot that you used to do that on the weekends.
I miss it.
Where would
I
you
miss
get
it, man.
Where would you get all the stuff that you would sell? Like, you had a ton of jeans sitting around.
I got those at a thrift store. They were having a buggy sale. Anything you could fit in a buggy for $10. I cleaned them out on jeans.
Yeah.
I paid $10 for all those jeans, and I probably made $500 or $600 on them.
Yeah. So is that sort of what you would do? Is the kind of the thrift shop thing, and you know, this is $5. I can probably sell it for $10 at the flea market. That kind of thing.
That I would go to wholesale outlets and buy pallets. Sometimes you could even, if you get to the flea market early enough, you could buy some of the people there out. People that didn't want to sit there all day, you know, give them $100 and they'd sell you everything.
Yeah.
And
they used to have two really big flea markets here in town, both out on the south side of town. They had the one that me and my granddaddy used to go to, and then they had a second one. The one that me and my granddaddy used to go to, it's long gone now. It shuttered up years and years ago. The other one, I believe, is still open, although it's been years since I've been there. But I used to go there with my father-in-law some weekends, and we'd walk around, and I don't know. I'm imagining that the internet, like eBay and then Craigslist and stuff like that, probably just about killed off the flea market scene for the most part.
Oh, absolutely not.
No?
No. Flea markets are still going.
That
may be one thing that never gets killed off. You know, flea markets, they're like cockroaches, and the people, a lot of the people that are there are like cockroaches.
Did they have any type of restaurant at that flea market you were at?
Oh yeah,
there?
yeah.
Okay.
The one I was at there was huge. They had a big outdoor section, and then about 7 indoor buildings. And you know, people, I caught a lot of hell for doing that. People like to make fun of it. That was some of the more fun times I ever had. I mean, you get used to every weekend seeing the same people that get there about the same time. I would get there at like 4 a.m. And sometimes if you didn't get there by 4 a.m, you didn't get a place to set up. And the best thing about it was the money I made, man.
Yeah.
I'd give anything if I could get out there and do that again.
I was a kid when I was going, so I it was never really the money for me. But I mean, I know there was nothing I wanted to do more on those weekends than to go to the flea market with my granddad. And same thing, he would come pick me up at the crack of dawn. Basically, I remember there was a Hardee's somewhere on the way to that flea market we would go to, and we would stop at the Hardee's. He would get us a couple of biscuits or whatever and a drink, and we'd head to the flea market and set everything up. And they had an on-site restaurant there too. It was a grease pit type of place. You know, they would make you a hamburger. They'd hand you the hamburger. You could literally see the grease dripping off of it, that kind of thing. Boiled peanuts. But man, I had a lot of good times out there. It's funny I didn't know that was in the video when I played it. I watched like the first 10 seconds where something popped up on the screen about the trolls, and I said, yeah, this will work. But man, that brings back a lot of memories for me too.
You may have to saddle up the old body cam and go hit the flea market some weekend again just to walk around, because
You should do it.
people love those damn videos, man. I never did get it, but I mean, I don't know. If you like the videos, man, go. If you got a flea market in your area, just go out there and walk around for a half a day or something. If you meet, like you said, you meet some of there's almost every variety of human you can think of
Yeah.
there.
And no matter what flea market you go to, there's certain things you're going to see at every single. There's going to
Single
be
one.
yeah. There's going to be one guy with a table selling anything you can think of with a rebel flag on it.
Yep.
Shoes, belt buckles, hats, T-shirts, bandanas,
Whatever the latest fad item is. The last few times I went to the flea market to set up and sell, the current hot fad item at the moment were those little spinner things.
Oh, the fidget spinners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, those things.
Yeah. Man, that brings back so
When it
memories.
first came out, you couldn't find any there. You know, everybody was there looking for the fidget spinners.
Yeah.
And within about 2 weeks, every booth out there had them, you know.
God, that makes me want to get up and go. Well, I guess flea market's probably not a good place to go this weekend with coronavirus.
No.
But
definitely want to avoid the flea market this time.
I hopefully, I do want to go though. So this stuff passes and all this stuff is gone. I hope I remember this in a couple of months or whenever all this is over. I would love to take a weekend trip to the flea market one day. I want to eat a big greasy hamburger and vinegar French fries.
Yeah. They have to regale the fine folks with some flea market tales someday.
Yeah, man, that just brings back a ton of memories for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the Hardee's, because it's like every morning on my way, I would stop at Hardee's and get a biscuit and a drink. So, good times. Not a video I probably would have thought about picking, but the door lock is hilarious.
Oh, yeah, I just happened to notice that. Come to my house, bitch. My door is unlocked.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, not only is it locked, it's dead bolted.
That's funny as hell. Only you would spot that.
Even back then, though, you didn't care about giving out your address, huh?
That's right.
Yeah, it's true what you say, though. I mean, I'm not gonna post mine on my channel, but anybody that wants to find your address can find it. It's even easier now than it was 10 years ago when you said how easy it was 10 years. It's even easier now. So
yeah,
whole thing. I mean, it's not, so it is what it is with that. But man, that really brings back some memories for me. And then when my granddaddy opened that card shop too, I would go out there. I would go there with him on the weekends. And then when the summer would come around, I'd go out there just about every day that my parents would let me. I'd sit out there all day, 8, 9 in the morning till whatever 5, 6 in the afternoon. We'd sit out there.
That's something you can always find at flea markets too, is either a card shop, if it's a place that has the indoor buildings, or a guy that's got cards in it. Yeah. One of the first times I ever went to the flea market in my life and set up and sold merchandise was when I was about 14 years old up in Columbus. Snake, if you're in here, I don't know if you remember the old Dublin drive-in movie theater. That's where a lot of flea markets would originate on the weekends. At these drive-ins, they'd have flea markets there.
That's where the one was I went to. It was an old drive-in. The screen was still up. The screen was still standing. Yeah, the flea market I went to with my granddaddy was the old drive-in movie theater here. God, that's funny.
My parents, they took me to that flea market one weekend, and as a young man, I was thinking, man, I could bring some of my junk up here and make some money. And I had a baseball card collection, about a shoebox full. And I'll never forget this, man. I sold the entire box of cards for $8 to a dude. And I thought I'd really struck gold on that deal. Well, I found out some years later, one of the cards I had in there is a Hank Aaron card that was worth $10,000 at the time. Not at the time I sold the box.
Right.
But at the time, I remembered that and looked it up.
Yeah.
There's no telling what that card's worth.
Bad Dog's in the comment section, and of course he's still he dabbles in that card collecting, memorabilia collecting. He's my go-to guy now when I have a question about that kind of thing.
Cool. I'm gonna have to. Bad Dog, when you come on tonight, remind me about that. I have to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's something for you guys to do tonight on the way out the door this morning. If you're bored, come on over to BVD TV at 8 o'clock, which you're probably already going to be there anyway if you're smart.
Yes.
I'm sure Lou will be there lurking in the comments. Probably be a troll or two. And
or Armando might be there.
Armando may be there climbing walls, picking beans and whatnot.
Yeah, he's got his ladder. He's ready to go.
Yep. And Bad Dog will be there for a few minutes tonight.
Yeah. Man, it's got. We better end the show because I'm getting ready to go on like an hour thing of flea market and baseball card shop stories, and we'll
save that for Monday.
for another day. But man, watching that video has made me happy now because it's given me a reason to think back to some.
I'm here to serve,
things I
sir.
really enjoyed as a kid. I was real close with my granddaddy for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
But I spent a lot of time with him out at that flea market and then the baseball card shop. His wife, my granny, was diagnosed with cancer while he owned that card shop, and he had the main shop, and then in the back of the shop there was 2 storage rooms that were pretty big, like about the size of a typical bedroom, maybe 10 by 10, and he turned one of those storage rooms into like a makeshift hospital room almost. A TV back there and a bed, and Granny would lay back there in that bed. Anyway,
Wow.
Man, it just brings back a lot of memories. But
Plenty of good mama, papa, grandpa, grandma memories. If you're not a person that was fortunate enough to be close to your grandparents, man, I don't want to get started either, but my papa was the first person to ever take me to a Greenville High School football game when I was like 7. And he's really the one that got me hooked on football at a very early age.
Slim Shady says flea markets are fun, but not pawn shops. You know, I don't really know why that is. I've never really felt comfortable in pawn shops either. I don't know. It basically, a flea market is an indoor pawn shop, a pawn shop is a flea market sort of, but
Because the pawn shops, man, their
Yeah.
shit's a lot of their stuff's too overpriced. I mean, you can catch some good deals there, but the pawn shops are the title max of the used junk world.
What a disaster. Anyway, yeah, y'all check out BVD tonight at 8 o'clock, the infamous Friday night stream. I'm sure I'll be in there. Appreciate all y'all tuning in this morning. A lot of y'all stuck around to the end, which is great news. Me and BVD regaling you today with more tales from the stupid. We got another PayPal here. Shout out to Slim Shady. They're paying people $7,000 to be a test subject for coronavirus studies.
How much?
Yep, $7,000 BVD.
Where do I sign?
Thank you, Slim, for supporting.
By the
show
way,
this
you
morning.
just lost a subscriber, Lou, and then picked one up immediately.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I tried the old unsubscribe and resubscribe thing to see.
Oh, for the notifications? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that'll work. All right, guys, we really appreciate y'all tuning in this morning. Another good week here on Loutube 2. I guess that's what we'll call this channel, Loutube 2. ESPN has ESPN 2. Now Loutube has Loutube 2.
Is that Loutube TWO or Loutube TOO?
Loutube and Loutube also.
There you go. So 200.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Loutube also. Appreciate all you guys tuning in this week. Sorry again for sort of the inconvenience and confusion with the second channel this week. Hopefully this won't last much longer. We will see. But I do appreciate all you guys and girls migrating over to the new channel for this week. Me and BVD will be back right here on this same channel Monday morning at 8 a.m. for the live show. I hope y'all have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. Seriously, avoid crowds if you can help it. I know you're 20 years old and you're going to live forever and nothing's ever going to happen to you, and coronavirus is a fake news hoax. But just be smart. this weekend. I don't want anything happening to anybody. I want everybody to stay happy and healthy. So be smart. Y'all have a great weekend, and we will see all of you on Monday.
Have a good weekend, everybody.